The town of Barnstable is working to extend the current moratorium on medical marijuana dispensaries. The Barnstable Police Department is investigating 2 stabbings, and residents can request a free energy audit. These stories and more on this episode of Barnstable Today. It's Tuesday, August 27th, 2013. I'm Sarah Mannel. The town of Barnstable wants to extend the current moratorium on medical marijuana dispensaries. Town Attorney Ruth Weil says the extension would give the town more time to write regulations.
But most communities, when they pass a moratorium, extended it to end of June 2014, and on, I think it's in your materials, on March 13th, 2013, the Attorney General approved a temporary moratorium in the town of Burlington that started in January of 2013 and was extended to June of 2014. So legally, extending the moratorium is well within the parameters of the law and the case law that supports that. So we are recommending that an ordinance be put forward extending the moratorium. I think the date is May 19th, 2014.
Also during Monday night's planning board meeting, Director of Growth Management Joanne Miller-Buntich presented a proposed area in town for a medical marijuana dispensary.
For the folks at home, the industrial area is roughly I&O Road or Route 28, Finney's Lane and the airport. It's sort of, and south of the Mid-Cape Highway. It's sort of that, more or less, that block of land in there. And not that people were proposing this to be remote, but they understood it as an industrial activity, and they thought this would be the most likely location for it. That's it. In all the discussions we've had with people, that's what they came up with. So it really wasn't a lot, from their perspective, a lot of so-called rocket science.
While the town is considering these issues, a public hearing will be held September 19th on the request to extend that moratorium on medical marijuana dispensaries. The Barnstable Police Department is investigating 2 stabbings. Police Chief Paul McDonald says both incidents occurred over the weekend.
One Saturday night at about 8:30 in the evening. It was at the Shanghai restaurant located at the corner of Ridgewood Avenue and Center Street. And the second one happened later on that evening, just past midnight at the Puffer Belly's Lounge. The first one occurred, a gentleman had come in, had ordered to go, was waiting out in the back area of the restaurant. Apparently, because he moved a pair of sunglasses, that apparently made another individual irate. He went over, put his arm around him, and stabbed him twice in the armpit, then fled the area. The victim then staggered out at the Center Street, where a police cruiser was passing by, flagged the cruiser down, and the investigation then began to take effect. Then later on that evening, about 12:15. We were called down to Puffer Belly's for a fight inside. When the cruisers arrived, there was one individual who was obviously stabbed. Second individual, the suspect, was immediately taken into custody. And what happened there was kind of interesting. He was obviously extremely intoxicated. He was up by the dance floor. He then took out a large knife and was waving it at the crowd. A couple of individuals confronted him who was working for the band, their security. They wrestled him. They tried to get the knife from him, and while they were wrestling with him, one individual got stabbed once in the arm and once in the leg. Both individuals were treated at the hospital. Both injuries are non-life.
McDonald says they now believe both incidents may be connected.
One individual was arrested, Timothy Fletcher of Howard, Mass. He has a long violent history. He's done some time for assault battery. We arrested him approximately 10 years ago for shooting a couple of individuals down behind Bobby Burns' pub. He is being held without bail pending a dangerousness hearing. That will probably take place sometime today. Hopefully then he'll be held for a minimum of 60 days. And meanwhile, the investigation is continuing regarding Shanghai. But again, the level of cooperation we're getting from everyone down there is limited.
McDonald says the department is investigating just how the knife got into the dance club because Puffer Belly's uses a metal detector.
Puffer Belly, although we have had problems in the past, we haven't had anything recent. This is the first time this summer that we've been down there. far as management of a licensed establishment, we think they do a pretty good job. They bring in their own security people in there. They do hire multiple police details, and the details were in place that particular night. And the individual who got stabbed was actually an employee of Puffer Belly. So their employees did step up to the plate. They tried to confront the individual. But we are taking a look at it because the individual was obviously intoxicated, and the question is, was he overserved there or was he overserved at Shanghai? But he clearly was drinking all day long.
If you have any information on the stabbings, contact the Barnstable Police Department. All Cape residents and businesses can get a free energy assessment completed by the Cape Light Compact. Energy Coordinator Richard Elrick encourages residents to take advantage of the program.
This includes a number of different things. Certainly you get free compact fluorescent bulbs, as many as you need, new low-flow shower heads, and faucet aerators, at least 75% of the cost, up to $4,000 for your installation, as well as air sealing, duct sealing. And again, you're entitled to this every calendar year. So this is something everybody, and I mean everybody, should have done to their home or business. And they can get an appointment to have someone come out and do that energy assessment by calling 1-800-797-6699. Once again, 1-800-797-6699. And in addition to the energy assessment that's conducted, there are also opportunities, and you'll be advised of this by the people who come out to do the energy assessment, of all the other kinds of different rebates that are available for freezers and other household appliances that may no longer be or may not be energy efficient. And so it would make sense to replace those as well.
If any residents are considering using solar to help power their homes or businesses, now may be a good time. Elrick says right now there are some federal rebates that could help reduce the cost of going green.
This is really the time, I think, like no other, when people should be considering solar PV for either their home or business. And I want to just very quickly run through some of the credits and rebates that are available, because it really makes the affordability so much more reasonable for people. There's a federal tax credit that is 30% of the total cost of installation with no limit. So whatever the installation cost turns out to be, right off the bat, you'll get a 30% tax credit. There's also a 15% state tax credit up to $1,000. As well, there are Mass Clean Energy Center rebates, and these run anywhere between 40 cents and 85 cents per watt. So there's some additional rebates that are available there. And then something that people hear about but maybe don't understand very well is that you're also eligible to receive the revenue from the sale of solar renewable energy certificates. And these are sort of financial creations for each kilowatt hour of electricity that's produced. You're able to sell this on the market, and there are some sort of technical discussion topics about how that happens, but any solar installer would walk you through that, explain how it's done, and even take over that responsibility of actually making your SRECs available on the market. There's a process that you have to go through to make that happen. And a lot of this, the affordability of this, is driven by the concept of net metering. Again, another term that people hear a lot about. But basically what net metering is that it allows you to sell back to NSTAR or whomever your utility is. In our case, it's either NSTAR or the Cape Light Compact, to sell back the renewable energy that you produce through your solar panels at almost a full retail rate. So it's, in a way, turning your meter backwards. And so in the summertime, when you're producing a lot of solar energy, more than you're using in most cases, then you can build up a credit on your NSTAR bill, so that in the wintertime, when maybe you're not producing as much solar energy, you still have a credit built up to pay some of your electric bill. So it really makes sense. The paybacks now are much shorter than they've ever been. In most cases, between 4 and 6 years, the costs of the solar systems are paid back.
For more information about these programs, contact Richard Elrick at Town Hall. With Barnstable Today, I'm Sarah Mannel.